Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motor City Uncut, episode 162, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. Late as usual. Usually supposed to be live about 20 minutes ago, but technical difficulties, and Sean and I trying to play matchmaker for Mike Moustakis here. Can't find a team for him. Anyway, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm joined each and every week by Major Sports Network founder Adam Hernandez. And part-timer is not part-time this week.
Wow.
He is here. So wave to the people, Sean.
Oh, hey.
Say hi.
That's your proof that he's here.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I'm not fake. I'm real news.
Sean is not fake news this week. Welcome to the program on this NHL trade deadline day. Your Detroit Red Wings did make a move.
Right at the...
Right at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, right at 3 o'clock.
Which is the deadline, if for those you don't know. They shipped Tomas Tatar to the Vegas Golden Knights for next year's first, the following year's second.
No, I think it's 2018 this year's first.
Well, that's what I meant by that. The next draft.
Yes.
An 18 first, a 19 second, and a 2021 third. It's also known as cleaning up. Did not have to retain any money. Did not have to send anybody else going with him.
No conditions to the
No
picks.
conditions to the picks. We got 3 picks for Tomas Tatar in clearing all his money for a guy who's struggling to put the biscuit in the basket. So I am not upset about that at all. The one thing, the sour note on Red Wings trade deadline day is they did fail to find a trading partner for Mike Green, who is on a last year of an expiring deal. And we can all see the writing on the wall here, guys. The Red Wings are not playoff bound, and even if they are, they're going to get pummeled. Absolutely pummeled in the first round, so it doesn't really matter.
It goes to show how bad the Eastern Conference is right now. that the Red Wings are only 5 games.
Is it 5 games or 5 points?
Oh, 5 points. Excuse me.
So
they're
2.5 games out. That's
they're 5. No,
insanity.
there's no games.
Okay, 5 points.
It doesn't go by games. They're
2 wins and a tie out. A loss in overtime, rather. Two wins and a loss in overtime out of the playoffs. 5 points, whatever. How you want to term it.
They are 5 points out of the last wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. That's how that is measured.
So bad.
If they were in the Western Conference, they would be
Dead last almost.
No, they wouldn't be dead last. They would be. I mean,
they'd
be closer, but
Arizona Coyotes.
Bad. It's they are lucky right now.
If they're in the Western, in the Central, they'd be in last. In the Pacific, they would be right behind Vancouver and Arizona.
Right in front of them?
Yeah, right in front of them.
Okay.
Look at Sean getting in on the hockey talk.
Yeah, Sean, stats! Woo! Yeah. And this coming off the heels of a Peter Mrazek trade last week, where they got a conditional third and conditional fourth. Did we ever figure out what the conditions were on those? Was it ever made public?
One of it, I believe it's if he resigns.
Okay.
With
they pick up the second pick?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole Peter Mrazek thing though. And did we talk about this last week?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Oh, wait a second. The trade didn't happen yet last week.
It happened right before we went on air. We did.
No, it didn't. It happened after we got off the air.
I thought it happened right when we went.
Or it happened the following night.
I thought it was Tuesday night.
No,
it was Tuesday night because you were airing Empire Media when it happened.
Yeah, we weren't. Yeah, we weren't on.
Okay. Well, we were talking about the rumors.
No, because remember, I texted you. Oh
yeah, it happened right after we got off.
And the whole premise with the whole Peter Mrazek thing is that, unfortunately, the Peter Mrazek deal wasn't going to get you anything substantial in return.
He's an expiring contract.
He's an expiring contract, albeit he's a restricted free agent. You know what though? I was looking at the numbers with Peter Mrazek, and kind of his career trajectory. He's probably going to be another Jimmy Howard. That's what Peter Mrazek is going to be. Right where they are right now in terms of their career. I'm talking
almost an identical career.
I'm talking about age wise, stats wise. So when Jimmy Howard was 25, 26 years old, he was turning in essentially the same stat lines as Peter Mrazek is turning in now. So the way that you look at this, if you want any justification for the Peter Mrazek deal or choosing to deal him as opposed to Jimmy Howard, what you're basically doing is you are trading a future Jimmy Howard. And based on the way that contracts have gone in the NHL now, you're going to market Peter Mrazek around probably $6 million a season once he's ready, at the very least.
Remember, Jimmy Howard got what, 5.25?
He's making about 5.25 right now.
5.25. That was 4 years ago, though.
Yes,
just that for
inflation. They got a bargain. They got a bargain on Jimmy Howard. They did. And
if Jimmy Howard were hitting at that same time hitting free agency now, he'd probably be getting in the sevens. So keep that in mind when people talk about that.
Exactly. And I think and what you're doing here is you are sparing yourself from having to offer that long-term commitment to a guy like Peter Mrazek, who, like I said, is essentially what you've seen before with Jimmy Howard. Now, Jimmy Howard isn't a bad goaltender. And can Peter Mrazek have a higher ceiling still than Jimmy Howard? Yes. But when you look at the numbers right now and you look at the contract that Peter Mrazek will probably get, you're going to be paying at least $1 million, $1.25 million more, at the very least, for a guy that's going to be just as good, maybe a little bit better than Jimmy Howard. That's it. And is that something that you may be wanting here eventually here in a couple of years? Yeah, it could be. But what the Red Wings have done right now, getting rid of Peter Mrazek, so you're at least freeing yourself up of at least $4 million. At the very least, because Peter Mrazek is making $4 million right now. He's going to be making more if he ends up going to arbitration, or whether or not he gets anything.
He hasn't had a horrendous season in arbitration for a pay
No, he hasn't. Him and Jimmy Howard have pretty much been neck and neck. But he is going to get a raise heading into next season, whether that's through arbitration or whether that's through his new restricted free agent deal. You're going to be saving $6 million in Mike Green. You're going to be saving what, about $5.25 with Tomas Tatar. What this deal does is essentially
makes you not have to choose between.
No, it gives you the money to go out and sign. It gives you the money to go out and sign Athanasiou. It goes out and gives you the money to sign Manthan, and it gives you the money to sign Larkin. Those are your three cornerstone offensive guys that you are going to kind of mold the next era of this franchise around. What they're going to have to do next is they're going to have to go and take a look at their defense, whether or not they're going to be able to use some of that saved money from some of these contracts to go out and get a defenseman this offseason is still yet to be seen. But this deal, it gives you some more wiggle room, something that they desperately needed.
And quite honestly, if I'm the Red Wings here, I don't invest anything in free agency in the offseason outside of maybe a veteran backup goalie for a couple $1 million at the most. I'm not going to be good anyway, regardless if I get into a long-term commitment with another Trevor Daley type defenseman, because that's about what you're going to be able to get and afford, or that will probably be available. I don't need another one of those. I've got 4 of them already. I want to figure out what I have. I want to figure out if I want to commit to Xavier Ouellet long-term, Nick Jensen. I know he's a little bit older. And I want to see what I have in like a guy like Joe Higgins, or pick a guy from Grand Rapids. I want to see what I have there. I don't want to have another stopgap body who's not going to make you any worse or better, preventing me from getting extended looks at these guys that I'm going to have to commit to shortly.
Yeah, and what this does too is
especially when it doesn't matter. It's not like we're one player away from. You're probably 1 or 2 players away from making the playoffs, but being from a series contender, you're not even close. You're a whole generation of players away. You've got essentially you're 4 years away from competing with all the bad money deals you have at the top of your salary cap table. You could be ready to compete a lot faster than that if you could shed some of that weight, but you can't. Or you're very unlikely to be able to. No one's going to be a willing partner to try and help you out in that pursuit.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure. Obviously, freeing up that money and being able to go out and re-sign it. I mean, it's a very real possibility. I mean, before it seemed like you were saying, Dorf, that the Red Wings were going to have to choose between their big three young guys.
Yeah, pick two.
Now it's a very real possibility that they're going to be able to go out and get all three of them signed, sealed, and delivered,
and not have to pull in an Athanasiou Part 2 this offseason and piss them off.
Exactly. I mean, Athanasiou is going to start next season in Traverse City with the Wings in training camp. He's not going to be playing in Switzerland or anything like that.
And you're not going to have to be like, go cheap on him again.
No, you're not. I don't know if this makes the applicator deal any easier to swallow. I don't know if this makes the front.
About the Darren Helm deal.
Yeah.
And you know what? Franzen's almost off the books, man. By the time it's going to be ready to win again, that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
And by the way, you're still paying for Stephen Weiss the next 2 years.
And same thing with Zetterberg. I think Zetterberg's on for another 2 or 3 years after this season.
Correct. I'll pull up the table.
But Franz Nielsen's going to be here for the long run. There's not going to be anything they could do with Franz Nielsen. And you're probably not going to be signing Gustav Nyquist after next season, because I think Gustav Nyquist is on after next season. Is when he becomes a UFA. So maybe that makes those deals a little bit easier to swallow.
You've got Zetterberg through the end of the 2020 season. You've got Applicator through 2021.
Okay.
You've got to pay Tyler Bertuzzi this offseason on a restricted tender.
Which I think they're going to be able to... He's not going to be... He's not... That deal's not going to be something that I'm going to be worried about. I think they're going to...
By the way, Athanasiou is a UFA this offseason.
No, he's not.
According to the Sportac table, he is.
Is he a UFA this offseason?
I'll look into it and try.
I don't think so. Go to capfriendly.com. Yeah, go to capfriendly. I don't think he's a UFA this offseason.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Where was I going with this though? I just don't. I think the Red Wings obviously put themselves in a better position this offseason. What I really want to take a good look at is possibly moving a couple of these deals. That
Cap Friendly has him listed as a restricted free agent with arbitration eligibility.
Yeah, I trust that more than
I think you're right too.
I can't imagine Athanasiou already being a UFA. That doesn't make any sense. You've got
the Gus bus for another year after this.
That's what I thought. This
Cronwall as well.
This offseason, though, I want to, because you did have some interest in some of these guys heading up until today. You actually had some interest in Danny DeKeyser, and you actually had some interest in Luke Glendening. Luke Glendening has turned himself into a little bit of a commodity, though, within the NHL, given his skills at the faceoff circle. He is one of the he's within the
classic
top
grinder players and a high top 10 faceoff percentage guy.
Yes, he is a top 10 faceoff guy in this league. You can get something for him this offseason.
Very valuable player on the penalty kill, a guy that can kill penalties and win faceoffs.
Well, absolutely. If you're a good faceoff guy, you're automatically going to become a good penalty kill guy. That's the way it works out.
Be used for it at least, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know necessarily at this point right now, given the money that they did free up, I don't know if it's necessarily vital that they do move Luke Glendening this offseason. Before it was, when you're trying to scrap every single penny that you could possibly free up. One deal that I would like to move, though, I would like to see if they can do anything with Danny DeKeyser and getting him out of here, freeing up that money and that monstrosity of a contract. I don't think there's anything they're going to do with Eriksson at this point. But Danny DeKeyser would be another one I'd look at to see if I could possibly find somebody to bite on.
I think Danny DeKeyser at that point would be 4 years and $20 million. That's not too big of a pill to swallow. He's not a bad player. He's just not right for you.
He's not right for Detroit. I mean, the guy is
defenseman from a wrong era.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I mean, as far as today goes, as far as Ken Holland goes, I mean, this was a.
The only thing is he's got no trade clause.
Who, Danny DeKeyser? Yeah. You know what? I'm not incredibly worried though about no trade clauses. If you're able to find the right team, if the right team's able to bite on him, he's still a young guy as well. I think he's going to. I think guys like that may be more prone to waiving those no trade clauses as opposed to guys who are, in the middle or towards the end of their career. I want to.
By the way, I really think you could probably find a deal this offseason for Jonathan Erickson.
Where's he at?
He'll have 2 years at $4.25 each remaining.
Okay.
Playing very well this season. I think you could find a taker for him.
Hey,
and that's $4.25 off your books too.
Maybe it is possible with him. I don't know. The Red Wings have.
I think it's a lot more likely than Nick Kaiser.
Hey, the Red Wings have to figure out what they're going to be doing with their general manager situation too. I mean, are they going to re-sign Ken Holland? If so, for how long? Because we can't be approaching any of this without a general manager obviously being put in place here. But today was today. You could definitely take some positive out of the Tatar deal. It is unfortunate that they weren't able to move Mike Green. That kind of does put a little bit of a damper on what ultimately was taken care of today.
Some pre-chewed chewing gum and a bucket of practice pucks. You should have taken that from Mike Green. I know the report was teams are concerned about the neck injury or whatever is currently plaguing him, the upper body injury, whatever you want to call it, is currently plaguing him. That's kept him out for the last week and a half or so. And I get that. That's a valid concern for another team because I'm sure they were asking for a third or fourth round pick for him. And you know what? For a guy who might not be able to play for you, that's a lot to ask. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that Ken Holland didn't want to take a conditional pick.
I know hindsight is 2020, but
you got him. You got to take him earlier. You got to take his practice pucks for him at this point.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Stock the vending machine, man.
Well, you're going to lose him for nothing then this offseason. So.
Or maybe it wasn't. Well, you know what? Maybe the phone calls were, hey, I'll offer you nothing, but we'll take them from you. Maybe that's all you were getting, and you know what? If you're Ken Holland, you should have done that.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Ultimately, though, I think you could take a look at today and see it as a positive.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 3 good draft picks for Tomas Tatar, and they're able to
so many draft picks in the next 2 years.
They do, and they're able to free up a bunch of money too. Something they desperately needed to do more so than probably anything else, because they need if you're looking to be sustainable. If you're looking to have sustained success moving forward, yes, you need to hold on to Mantha, you need to hold on to Athanasiou, and you need to hold on to Larkin. Those are the 3 guys that you need to hold on to. That's next generation's Datsuk Zetterberg.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And if the Red Wings lost Datsuk and Zetterberg back during the early 2000s,
where do you think we'd be right now?
Where would they ultimately be later on in that decade? They may not have won that Stanley Cup in 2009 or 2008. Excuse me.
07, 08 season. Yeah. Real quick to wrap this up. Grades on the trade. What would you grade Ken Holland's effort for the Peter Mrazek trade, and then also the Tomas Tatar trade?
You want a
numeric letter grade?
I know, but did you want them put together separate? The Mrazek grade, I'll give him a B- on that one. The Tatar grade, I'll give him an A-, and the no Green trade, I'm gonna give him a C-.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little more harsh. I agree with you on the Tomas Tatar trade. However, I still maintain that I think you could have gotten more for Peter Mrazek, or at least make those picks non-conditional. Just get them straight. For that, I'm going to go C-. And for the not trading Mike Green, that's unacceptable. I'm going to give him that for that.
No, I'm going to play conspiracy theorist here a little bit.
Unless, of course, he doesn't play another. You can get some extra credit for this class retroactively if Mike Green doesn't play again this season.
I'm gonna play conspiracy theorist here a little bit with Peter Mrazek. I think there was a little bit of baggage with Peter Mrazek. I think he may have been a douchebag in the locker room.
So be it.
And I think that got out a little bit. Did that maybe hurt his value?
There was a little bit of smoke in that. He's a rental. Shouldn't matter. Well,
no, he's not really a rental. Yeah, he is a rental.
But he's not.
I mean, they're going to have first crack at him. Philly is.
Do you think they'll keep him? Attempt to keep him?
I don't know. I mean, they've... It's... Based on what they gave up It's certainly possible. I would say right now, I would say yes, they probably keep him, but I don't know.
You wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
I wouldn't be totally surprised. I mean,
Okay.
again, you're gonna pay Peter Mrazek. Like I said, Peter Mrazek is going to command
$6+ million a
a
year.
pretty hefty contract here pretty soon, and
It's probably going to be $6 a year for 5 years.
and that's quite a commitment to somebody. That's quite a commitment, and you can see why the Red Wings needed to let him go. There's no justification whatsoever for this Red Wings team right now to be wrapping up almost $10 million in their goaltending. That's dumb. That's not feasible.
26-year-old Henrik Lundqvist for that money.
Yeah, that's not
26-year-old Roberto Luongo.
Yeah,
for that money.
that's not a practical move that you do. There's no practicality in that, especially in the salary cap era of the NHL.
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna move on here. Francisco Liriano signed with the Tigers here the other day. Just on the surface, your thoughts, guys? Is he gonna start? Is he gonna come out of the pen? What are the Tigers thinking here? Because it's pretty seemed like on the surface they don't really have a for sure spot for him in the rotation, and that's a lot of money for a reliever for a bad team. So Sean, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. Sorry, we let off with hockey.
Oh, that's fine. I was listening to you guys. I was actually doing all my research and all that stuff. But
he's taking notes over there.
I am.
He's trying to hockey better, and we'll give him credit. For
that. I know, right?
I don't think he was taking notes.
No, actually, it was all baseball stuff. Yeah. Basically, there's two things for me on here. Obviously, I think he's going to come out of the bullpen for sure. There's no doubt about it.
It's a lot of money for.
I know, but it's like I think they're looking into it kind of for like backup plan for Boyd and Michael Fires. However you pronounce his last name.
Mike Fires.
Fires, yeah. So I think it's a backup plan for those two, or even if Norris is not totally fully healthy, then yeah, Liriano is going to start. But right now, in my opinion, I think he's coming out of the pen, and then also kind of like what you and I have talked about before. I'm like, it possibly could be, a trading fuel if he does get out of the pen. Whatever. It's it's only 1 year. I know it's a lot of money for a bullpen. But
it's not a lot of money for a modern bullpen arm. It's just a lot of money for a team to spend on a bullpen arm that they're going to be awful.
Right, exactly. So it doesn't.
Going to be terrible.
So this move, in my opinion, is not really the smartest idea. But I think they were just kind of looking around for like all around kind of things. But I still think it was kind of dumb. It was a waste because you could just use some of your farm system for that. Like you're going to be bad, so you could have saved that $4 million and use it on something else.
Fair enough. So my next question, guys, am I wrong to be upset about who they DFA'd off the 40-man to make room for him, that being Jarl Laporte, one of the guys you got, along with Norris and Boyd for David Price. Dynamite strikeout numbers throughout the minors.
Mm-hmm. He has a strong arm.
Incredibly hot or cold when it comes to walking guys or not walking guys. When 1 year he walked 7 per 9, and the next year it was 1.9. So it's weird, but you gave up on a guy who could have been a dynamite reliever when he's 24 years old, and oh, by the way, you could stash him in the minors for another 3 years without having to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why they chose him, especially you've got Sean's doppelganger, Chad Bell.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm actually looking at Chad Bell right now. I was like,
totally DFA-able. Any of those like guys that they signed to major league deals, Ryan Carpenter, Johnny Barreto.
It doesn't make any sense,
pick
really.
a guy.
Is this another indication this front office just doesn't have a direction right now with this team?
Yeah, or are they under the false delusion that they can compete this year?
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
You know what, that's a move you could justify because you know what, Laporte was probably not going to help you this year because you know what, he got to the major league level and then shit his pants and forgot how to throw strikes late in last year. But that's a move that you know what, Liriano is the last piece we need.
Yeah.
To win a World Series this year and next year be damned. I don't, if we lose this guy, so what?
Right. I'm like, the kid was only 23 years old.
I think he just turned 24. But either way.
Right. I'm like, you have improvement. All these other guys were like in their late 20s, almost 30.
Yeah, I mean.
And Chad Bell's 28.
I mean, another guy, like non-future.
I don't understand. It makes
Renninger.
no sense.
Like, what are you
doing? Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like what Adam says. The front office has no idea what they're doing. It shows right there. They're just.
I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see really direction with with this team right now.
No,
It kind of reminds me what the Chicago Bulls did, a few seasons ago when they went out and signed Rondo when they were trying to get younger. I don't know. I just either you're dedicated to a rebuild or you're not,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of been the case with this Tigers team for a couple of seasons now, since they had the Verlander contract, which they were obviously able to get rid of. But they also have Cabrera on the books as well, and they won't ever fully be committed to that rebuild unless they're able to get, trade
somebody
Cabrera.
to take Miguel Cabrera.
Exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. It just seems like you're making your situation a little bit more cumbersome by bringing a guy on like Francisco Liriano. And again, it's not like they signed him for, to a 2 or 3 year deal.
It's a 1 year deal.
It's a 1 year deal. It just, I don't know. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me as well.
I'm not mad at. You know what? I can totally justify the signing of Francisco Liriano. We're going to use him in a swingman capacity, and our whole idea is that we're going to try and deal him. If we're not contending, we're totally going to flip him at the deadline. I'm okay with that. So teams that are in the Tigers' predicament make 1 year commitments to guys like that all the time with the total full intention of flipping them at the deadline.
Well, that's why I'm when I think about this, that's why when I think about this whole Victor Martinez thing, if he's able to go off and have a decent start of the season up until the trade deadline, and they're able to flip him at the trade deadline, I'm okay with that. I mean, because we're at the point now when you look at it, I mean, Victor Martinez probably should have been dealt 2 years ago.
Yes. Should have never been re-signed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not obviously not at the contract he was at, but I mean, where we stand right now is 6 months really that much of a difference? Not even that when it comes to Victor Martinez being in a Tigers uniform. I mean, if he's able to play well and they're able to get something for him at the deadline, then I think that's a win for the Tigers.
Yes. Or even if you don't get anything, you play your young guys or someone who shined throughout the minor league system, give them the chance to play, get Miguel Cabrera off his feet for the second half of the season so he doesn't limp into yet another offseason injured. And give, Victor Martinez, for all his flaws and other things like that, and is still a, more than a decade veteran of this league. And I'm sure he's you could call him well respected around the league. At least give him the opportunity and the dignity to go out trying to make a pennant run and not floundering for a bad team, or not playing or being benched down the stretch because that's what's in the best interest of the franchise going forward. I don't. And here's the thing. I'm not committed to him for the whole year. I am fully on board with starting the season with him on the big league roster, regardless how he does in the spring. And if it's going well, we'll keep him around and try and deal him. But if it's not, I'm not going to give him some dignified Jeter-esque send-off for him to keep him in the fucking 2-hole despite him hitting 240 with no power, like the Yankees did his final season. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to keep Victor Martinez in the cleanup spot just because he used to be good. I will cut him in the middle of the year.
I'll pay you to
go.
Well,
you will do that.
You
I
want
would hope the attitude is mirrored in the Detroit Tigers front office. Well, but if he's doing well, give him the opportunity to go to an AL contender who needs a bat. Which, unfortunately, if you look at the teams that should contend the AL this year, you're not going to have any takers. That's the shitty part. Boston, New York do not need a DH.
No. Anybody out west?
The Angels do not need a DH. Albert Pujols says hi.
Toronto.
Toronto is not going to be that good.
Yeah, I'm just.
Is Tampa Bay going to be any good?
No.
Houston does not need a DH.
No. Evan Gaddis is like, nah, you guys, keep him over there.
Damn it, yeah. You're right. Not a lot of teams out there. Does Cleveland need a DH?
No. Don't they got Edwin? Is he playing DH?
Edwin Encarnacion, but he's probably going to play first base most days. Yeah. Or Jason Kipnis plays first base most days. If they were smart.
Steal him to the Indians. cares?
Send him back to
Send him
Where
back-
he started.
Send him back to Cleveland.
So at that point, you're hoping someone gets hurt, and the Twins all of a sudden, shit, Joe Mauer just broke his leg again or something. We need a bat for the stretch run.
Yeah,
that's what you're hoping and praying for.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Sorry.
I do have one last thing for Liriano. Do you think this is kind of maybe a addition for maybe a 6-man rotation?
They will not go with a 6-man.
Because you look at it, you got Michael Fulmer coming back from an injury.
Tigers are going to be bad, man.
I know they're going to
Don't
be bad.
Surprised if like 15 guys start games.
But this is what I'm saying. Like you look at
Zimmerman,
Zimmerman, Fires, Boyd, and Norris all injury prone.
Matt Boyd is not injury prone. Matt Boyd has never been hurt as a pro.
Yeah, he has. There wasn't last year. He missed like 3 weeks.
He got sent down because he blew.
Okay, so he just sucks. Period. Okay, there. That's basically being injured, anyways. So you look at the rest of them.
No, it's not. It's just sucking.
Anyways, so you look at the rest of them. They're injury prone, like hardcore. Zimmerman can't throw a strike anymore. Norris, who knows what's going on with him? But when he's on, he's a stud. But he just can't.
I'm telling you, Daniel Norris, I think would be heavily benefited from a year in the bullpen where it's just fucking stop trying to be a pitcher, just gas people, just throw it past them.
Are you still on the Dan Norris bandwagon like I am?
I still think he could be a very good major league pitcher.
Yeah, so do I.
I just think their approach. He's in his own head.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking. Stop being a pitcher. Be a thrower for 5 minutes.
So is it kind of like maybe an Andrew Miller kind of thing? He started as a pitcher. Starter, and he couldn't start.
Dan Norris has good mechanics. Andrew Miller doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, Daniel Norris seems incredibly more talented than Andrew Miller.
No, Andrew Miller was just as talented physically. They're fairly equal physical talents. However, Andrew Miller's mechanics coming out of college were wonky. And they were very not repeatable and fucky. Daniel Norris does not have that issue.
That's the word of the night.
Fucky. Yeah, his mechanics were bad.
Yeah,
and that's why it took him 8 years to figure it out.
And that's one thing kind of worries me with Daniel Norris. He's only 24.
Yeah, he's
young.
only.
I know he's only 24 years old.
Exactly.
And it's
my point is, I think it would be very beneficial to simplify things for even half the year.
I know the
start the year in the pen,
right.
Focus on getting 3 outs at a time.
I know
he's blowing.
Just
fucking
imagine,
past people.
if he can get his things together, having Fulmer and Norris as your 1-2.
That's the plan.
I know. That's just so ridiculous.
It did for
Dylan Bundy's career.
Yeah.
See what it's done for Dylan.
I know,
career.
but that should still be the plan with this team.
Yeah,
having Fulmer and Norris be your 1-2,
and they're both only 24 years old. They're so young.
Well, not only that, you have
and you have Matt Manning down in the minors.
You've got 4 top 100 arms.
Yeah.
Who's within 2 years or 2 or 3 years?
Who do they get?
Manning, Faedo.
Yep.
Franklin Perez.
Yes.
Is the guy you're thinking
Yep.
of. And by the way, Bo Burrows, who's no slouch either. And that's not to mention a dark horse in your system. Not really dark horse, but Kyle Funkhauser is going to be a pretty good pro too.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to get dealt though, unless one of them.
So what?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's who cares, but.
Or you go the Cubs route. Oh shit, we got so many starters. Well, 2 you're going to close now. It's okay.
God.
We need a closer.
I guess on the other side of things here, God, remember the times when their best pitcher was Jacob Turner coming up?
Oh my gosh!
Hey man, Jacob Turner was an all-world prospect, and it just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Hey, he's been in the big leagues off and on with.
Was he with the White Sox last year?
No, he was with the Nationals last year.
Was he?
He actually started 5 or 6 games for them.
Was he?
Yeah.
Man,
spent some time with the Marlins. He spent some time with the.
I know he was with the White Sox.
White Sox for a minute.
Yeah.
Been around, but he's in the big league still. He's not
he's
force
not
to be reckoned with.
I'm looking him up right now.
I think he's a non-roster invitee with the Nationals, if I remember correctly.
I'm going to search for this.
Just Google his name.
What do you think I'm doing? Simmer down.
I don't hear you typing, Sean. You type very quietly.
Yeah, I know I do.
All right, we got anything else to add on to this? All right. How does Stan Van Gundy still have a job?
naked pictures of Tom Gores.
He must.
Because he's one game out of the 8th seed.
Or is it a drunken voicemail?
He has
what he have?
He has something. He has something.
It's unbelievable.
I think something else happens first. I think
Unbelievable.
Stan Van either is going to have to relinquish one of his
GM or coaching responsibilities.
yes.
Well, here's my problem.
Well, and if that's the case, it's going to be his coaching.
Neither will happen.
Okay,
because if you're going to give up your coaching responsibilities and just be the general manager, who's going to want to come work for you? Nobody. As a coach, who's going to want to come work for you?
Why wouldn't they want to?
Yeah.
Because you're a pain in the fucking ass, and you make terrible personnel decisions. It's obvious.
Somebody that wants a job.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody who wants a job
Okay,
wants to start
anybody
somewhere.
of substance.
Well, I mean, you could go out and get a young, up and coming college coach. Something with the Boston Celtics.
So you're going to try and
something with the Boston Celtics.
Who's the next
do with
Brad Stevens?
Yeah.
Shaka Smart. Who's not doing well at Texas, by the way.
No, but Texas is a toxic atmosphere, though.
As we found out in both football and basketball.
Yeah.
You know what? A couple of years ago, I was actually on board the Shaka Smart.
The Shaka Smart train.
Yeah.
It's got the name for it.
I mean, getting him to Detroit, seeing what he can do.
What,
I don't know. Maybe that's what they do.
And there's no way in hell he'll just relinquish the GM job because that's kneecapping you, and that's you got to swallow. No one's going to swallow their pride at that level of sport.
He's getting paid
out.
that much. He's getting paid. I'm sure, like a team president, and not like a head coach.
Sure, head coaches make more, dude,
than team presidents.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh.
Most coaches make more than their boss.
Either which way, he's going to take the position where he has more control, which is going to be team president.
Do you think he's done with the day-to-day? He's fed up with the day-to-day of coaching an NBA franchise at this point of his life?
Possibly.
Maybe. He's been around for a long time.
He's been.
He's not a young man either.
No,
he's been around for a while. But I don't know. I mean, you're saying a head coach. You can't see a head coach coming and working for a guy like Stan Van Gundy?
I think it would be hard to attract the premium talent.
See, I don't think it would because of his name. Just his name. I
don't think the name carries that much weight around the league.
I think if they're going to go out and get a young up and coming college coach,
or do you go the former player route? Do you hire a Chauncey Billups? Do you hire
to be a head coach?
Yeah, or your gentleman, one or the other, not both.
They already went that route.
I'm talking super recent former player.
No, I'm not.
I'm not talking Joe Dumars 10 years after he retired.
No, I'm not. I've never been a.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
I've never been a big fan of them.
Because
the Pistons have tried to do it, just hasn't.
Okay, I mean you're right. It really hasn't worked out, but it's worked out several other places.
Trying to think of. Give me an example.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
But look,
anything else?
Steve Kerr walked into a.
Depending on what you think of Luke Walton.
Jerry's still out.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Scott Brooks.
I'm kind of on board the college coach. Up and coming college coach.
I just don't have.
That's what I want to see.
I just don't have a name that I could say. I don't have a Brad Stevens sitting there, the young and hip with the kids.
Hey, but you know what? I don't even know if Brad Stevens was a guy that people were all excited about either when he left Butler to go to Boston. From what I can remember, there was a lot of people going, "What? Brad Stevens, a guy who coached a mid-major Big East team." Albeit
they weren't even in the Big East at the time, weren't they? In the
Atlantic 10.
Was it the A10 or was it the?
Well, they were in the Horizon.
Horizon League, yeah.
No, I think they were at least in the A10.
Were they in the A10 at the time?
They, at the very least, they may have already been in the Big East. But when Brad Stevens left Butler, I mean, Brad Stevens was a pretty accomplished coach. I mean, he had Butler. Title. Yeah, he had Butler running on all cylinders. But anybody at that time, did they really think that was going to transition well between mid-major conference
to the NBA?
To the NBA, and that might be kind of unfair to say mid-major conference in basketball because that conference. If they were in the Big East, that conference is really, really fucking good. But I mean, to my point though, I'm not sure exactly everybody was thinking that Brad Stevens was going to go from a small private school in Indianapolis to a
Premier head coach.
Premier head coaching job with a premier franchise in the Boston Celtics in a premier media market and just do extremely well. Okay, maybe that's what the Pistons do. Maybe that's what Stan Van Gundy goes and looks for. Maybe he goes and finds himself from 20 years ago. Less than that, but you know what I mean.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is a whole other topic. We'll dive deeper into the Pistons in another time, probably in a postseason autopsy show. But they're financially fucked for the next 4 years. No draft picks, no ability to add in the free agent market, nor anybody will be willing of substance to come here.
So are the Red Wings all of a sudden in a better spot now than the Pistons?
Post Blake Griffin deal?
So who's in the best position now among
to
the
win
Detroit
the
Detroit?
It's
the Lions. I love it.
The Lions you can classify as legitimate contender now.
Say it again.
The Lions are a legitimate contender now sitting here in February 2018.
Like, seriously?
Like, seriously.
Say it one more.
Totally seriously.
Are you super serial?
I'm going to get out from behind the microphone so you can read my lips. The Detroit Lions are legitimate playoff and championship contenders. As of right now, February 2018, leaps and bounds ahead of their Detroit brethren, the Pistons, Tigers, and Red Wings. You heard it here, folks. Your Lions are probably the best thing you're going to have in this town for the next 5 years.
Oh, God, help us. God, help us, Jesus.
Yeah.
God and baby Jesus, help us.
That's...
Yep. The Lions have in-prime talent.
Hold on. Be clear about this.
Sure.
This isn't a relative comparison, right?
No.
This is
they are in the best position, and I would classify them as legitimate contenders.
Sean, that's big news.
It is. That's big, real news.
We need to get a fake news button on the soundboard there. Donald Trump calling us fake news. You are fake news. We'll make that happen. Considering you haven't updated that thing in like 3 years.
Oh, God, I'm going to grab my pants.
All right. Last thing to wrap up the show here tonight. Miles Bridges, Tom Izzo, and the NCAA. We're going to dive deeper into the whole national scandal is the FBI report leaked to Yahoo Sports. That was Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, including Miles Bridges' mother's name on it, and how his mom was listed. A guy. Okay, this is from this report comes from a leaked deposition by the FBI to Yahoo Sports about a guy who's on trial for money laundering. Miles Bridges' mother appears on one of his spreadsheets as taking $400 in a cash advance and going out to a $70 lunch or dinner. The guy is on trial for money laundering. What do money launderers do with their books?
Burn them.
Cook them. That's the whole reason they're on trial in this case. The NCAA quickly found Bridges clear of wrongdoing and cleared him to play 8 hours after they were asked for their opinion. And people aren't okay with that. And I understand there's blood in the water surrounding Michigan State. I understand it's easy clicks, easy views, easy eyeballs. But for the love of fucking God, you're making Miles Bridges the poster boy in this, and you've got reportedly the head coach of the University of Arizona on tape agreeing to pay $100,000 bribe to get a guy to sign with him, who, by the way, is still currently on his roster. And you're not going to make Sean Miller, and I'm sorry, I forget the player's name down there. You're not going to make Sean Miller the face of this? Come
For God's sake.
Fuck on. Jesus, man. And despite all this, Michigan State finished their regular season 28-3, outright Big Ten champs, best finishing record for the regular season.
This is Michigan.
In school history. Shut up.
For God's sake.
This is fucking with me now. Number 2 in both the AP and the coaches poll. Yet they're still in 3 seed in the bracketology.
No, again, you know what they did the other night too?
What's
The
that?
other day against Wisconsin? They did it without Miles Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Absent while playing 38 minutes? Yeah.
Yep. They did it without...
That's 2 games in a row he hasn't shown up. 8 points.
Again,
and
I don't know...
4 of the 8 on both games don't come until the final minute on free throws.
I don't know if that's more concerning for Michigan State fans that he's...
I think it's more rewarding that you're winning without him.
Okay. And that's fine. I was just wondering, is it this way or is it that way?
They're peaking at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they going to play when they do play next Friday?
They play the winner of the Michigan and... No, they don't.
No, because, what is it? They play... Oh my gosh, I was just looking at it.
What was...
Oh, by the way, Minnesota was in the top 10 nationally, finished 11th earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Finished 11th in the Big Ten. And the crazier part is Nebraska is going to finish 4th in the Big Ten regular season and is probably not going to get an at-large bid.
Row the boat.
What's that to do with Nebraska?
No, you said Minnesota.
Well, yeah. You see Nebraska's Minnesota's new uniforms actually do have the or in the row the boat.
Stupid.
They bought the copyright.
I am so over
Hey, man, to get small programs to play up, PJ Fleck, the master motivator. Should write a book. PJ Fleck School of Motivation.
PJ Fleck looks like a little bitch. Doesn't he look like a little bitch?
Little bitch played in the NFL.
Yeah, so.
Makes millions of dollars to coach amateurs.
He looks like a little bitch. That stupid row the boat thing.
Hey,
it was
it
cute.
works.
It was cute when it was
Remember,
at Western.
horseshoe, Broncos foot.
Horseshoe, Broncos foot. Horseshoe, Broncos foot.
We're gonna go get stomped by Ohio State.
Yeah,
Don't you think
how much motivation did that give them that day?
I don't remember.
I think they kept it close for like the first 5 minutes.
So what's the bracket look like, Sean?
Come on, Sean, hurry
Michigan State plays the winner of Wisconsin and Maryland.
up. Oh.
Team. Well, they beat Wisconsin twice, and they stomped Maryland pretty good in their one time they played them.
Okay.
Actually, did they play Maryland twice?
I thought
They might have been played. I don't remember.
Who cares?
But they beat them both times.
And then Nebraska plays the winner of Michigan, and Michigan plays the winner of Illinois and Iowa. Ohio State plays the winner of Northwestern and Penn State. And then Indiana plays the winner of Rutgers and Minnesota. And then Purdue plays the winner of Indiana in that other game.
Purdue can go suck a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Purdue fans have, believe it or not, on Twitter, this is a terrible barometer for general public attitudes, which I will fully acknowledge. Their fans have been the fucking worst about this whole scandal, if you want to call it that, and try to tie it into Tom Izzo. Yeah.
Wow, what have they been doing?
I'm not going to get into specifics because it's boring and it's radio for two, but
what, did they say something to you? Did they hurt your feelings?
Not to me specifically.
Have you been getting into fights?
Dude, they're worse than Walmart Wolverines currently.
Oh, wow. Coming from you, that's pretty bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys got anything else? I do not have a cut room floor segment tonight because nothing got cut. Stall.
Stan Van Gundy said some shit about the NCAA.
Yeah. No, I think I want to...
Which we'll carry on to next show.
Okay, I'll wait.
No, what were you going to say?
No, I'll wait till next show. That's fine.
Shut up and coach.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. And this is, you know what, I don't think this is something he's going to get himself in trouble with because this isn't like a Democrat or Republican issue here. Everybody agrees the NCAA is sleazy. It is not a partisan issue.
That South Park episode nailed it right now. What is it? The crack baby
basketball.
Yeah.
So bad. So horrible.
I totally forgot about that one. That one was gold.
Cartman's like a like an old Southern slave owner, and he's going to the University of Colorado asking like their secret.
Yeah. No, my favorite, next favorite one, the sports related one, is the Washington Redskins. Hey, thanks for calling Washington Redskins. Go fuck yourself.
And their logo, I like the logo.
Yeah.
Ah, that was with Goodellbot too.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
Wow, that is going to wrap up this 162nd episode of Motor City Uncut, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. Join us each and every Monday night at 7 p.m.-ish Eastern, live on the various audio platforms you might be catching us on now. I think there's like 6 in total. Or on the replay in even more places than that. So for Adam and Sean, I am Dorf. We'll see you guys next week.